Hello students, how are you all? Today we are going to discuss chapter number 5 transpiration, which is a part of unit 2 plant physiology. Before starting the chapter, first of all, what is transpiration? Just like all living organisms, plant also require an excretory system to discharge excess water from their body. Now, this process of elimination of excess amount of water from the plant body is known as transpiration. It is generally the evaporation of water from the surface of leaves. Now, a demonstration of transpiration is given in the chapter, in which you have to take a medium sized plant and cover it with a polythene bag and keep it for 2-3 hours in the sunlight. Now after some time, after 2-3 hours, you will be able to see tiny drops on the surface of polythene. From where these tiny drops come? These tiny drops are actually the elimination of water in the form of vapor by the surface of leaves. Now if you will place another polythene bag without putting any plant in that, you will observe that no water droplet is formed on the surface. It can be act as a control for this experiment. Now, if we test it with the help of dry cobalt chloride paper is basically blue in color. Now, when it tested with this paper, it changes its color to pink. That confirms that evaporation, that means the transpiration from plant take place from the aerial surface of the leaves. Now the another experiment is given as you see the figure 5.2. In this you have to take 3 airtight bell jars. Now in the first bell jar you have to place a well potted plant and you have to cover it with polythene bag. Now in the second one the procedure is almost the same, but here in this an introduction is there. That means the introduction of cobalt chloride paper is shown in figure B. Now if you see the figure C, in this the plant is not there, however apparatus is set as same as the both previous. Now what is the end result of this experiment? You will find that after some time tiny droplets are seen on the surface of jar A. That means these tiny droplets are appeared due to the transpiration from the aerial part of the leaf. Now in the experiment B1 you will find that these droplets are condensed on the surface of the jar, and the cobalt chloride paper, it changes its color from blue to pink. Now in the third one you will find that no tiny droplets are found on the surface of this jar. The reason is that because due to the absence of plants there is no transpiration, hence there is no loss of water take place because the source is missing, and you can see that the blue chloride paper, it remains as it is. Now there are various measurements of transpiration. The first one is weighing method. In this an experiment is done on plants where we have to calculate the weight before and after the experiment. Now in this the thing which is very important, that the soil surface of the pot should be covered so that the evaporation should not take place. Only the evaporation, that means the transpiration, should take place from the plants and its parts. Now the loss in weight by the plant during this time is due to loss of transpiration. That means whenever the weight of the plant gets reduced, it is due to the loss of water by the transpiration process. Now in another weighing experiment, which is figure 5.4, in this we have to take a twig. Remember, we need not to take the entire part. Now in this the roots are missing. We have to dip this twig in water and at the top of water we have to put some amount of oil so that it will reduce the chances of transpiration. Now we have to place this test tube in a beaker and we need to weigh them together. After some time we need to take out this test tube and keep it in a test tube stand. Now what we'll find that after some time there is loss in the weight of this twig. Why? Because due to the transpiration it reduces water from its surface. Now the thing which is important here is, since there are no roots to actively absorb water, the water loss through transpiration will be much less. That means if the roots are not well developed in those plants, the rate of transpiration will be less. Now the next topic is Ganong's potometer. A potometer is basically a device which measures the rate of water intake by a plant. Now if you see the figure 5.5, here a Ganong potometer is given. Now this apparatus is completely filled with water, and in this we need to insert an air bubble. Now how to insert air bubble? We need to lift this capillary tube so that a suction pull is generated that causes the formation of air bubble which goes inside this capillary tube. Now as the transpiration proceeds, this air bubble moves towards the twig. That means it shows the rate of loss of water by the twig. Now the thing which is important in this, that potometer does not measure the water loss during transpiration, but what it measures? It measures the water uptake by the cut shoot. Now whenever doing this experiment, there are certain precautions that need to be taken care. The first is that this apparatus, the potometer, should be made completely watertight. The second thing is that the twig should be placed obliquely so that it can take maximum amount of water. Now if this air bubble it goes inside this twig, it will cause hindrance in the functioning of xylem. As you know that xylem is responsible for the conduction of water and minerals in plants. Now there are certain limitations of the potometer. The first thing, that introduction of this air bubble is not easy. Every time we cannot get air bubble while lifting this capillary tube, because every time suction pull cannot be generated. The second thing is that this twig cannot survive for a long time. That means we need to do this experiment in a short period of time. Now the third thing, any outer change, that means any environmental change, can cause the shifting of this air bubble, which will cause hindrance in our result. Now the next topic is kinds of transpiration. Now transpiration is further classified into three types, that is stomatal transpiration, cuticular transpiration and lenticular transpiration. Stomatas are the minute opening which is present on the surface of leaves. Maximum amount of water loss from the plant take place by the process of stomatal transpiration. Now the second one is cuticular transpiration. Cuticles, these are basically the waxy coating on the surface of leaves. About 5 to 10% of the water from the leaves is lost through cuticular transpiration. During dry conditions, when the stomatas are closed, more water is transpired through the cuticles. Remember one thing, that thickness of the cuticle is very important. If the cuticles are very thick, that means the concentration of loss of water will be very much low. Now the third one is lenticular transpiration. Lenticels are basically the minute openings which is present on the surface, that is the bark of the trees. However, all the plants doesn't have this lenticular transpiration. Now evaporation of the water from the lenticels of the plant is known as lenticular transpiration. The topic is mechanism of stomata transpiration. As you know that this is the structure of stomata, in which you will find bean-shaped structure that is known as guard cells. Now between the guard cells there is a whitish color structure that is the stroma. Now during transpiration these guard cells control the opening and closing of stomata. Now if you see figure 5.7, here the transverse section of the leaf is given. Now in this you will find that a leaf is having two layers, that is upper epidermis and lower epidermis. Now between these two epidermis there are various cells which is known as mesophyll cells. Now mesophyll cells is further classified into palisade and spongy mesophyll. Now what is the role of mesophyll? Mesophyll cell contains the larger number of chloroplast and the chloroplast contain chlorophyll. That means these mesophyll cells are the reservoir for the process of photosynthesis. Now whenever the concentration of water is greater in the upper epidermis, it will goes into the palisade mesophyll cells, and from this it goes into the intercellular space, and finally it will go down towards the lower epidermis, and from lower epidermis it comes out from the surface of plant. However, it is found that the transpiration is more from the lower surface of leaf in comparison to the upper surface of leaf, and that can be done by the process with the help of cobalt chloride paper. If we will put cobalt chloride paper at the bottom part of the leaf, we will find that it will change its color from blue to pink. The reason is that at the upper part of the leaf the concentration of stomata, that means the number of stomata, are less. Now the topic is stomatal regulation of transpiration. For this we will see again the figure 5.6. Now here, as you know that stomata, these are the minute openings on the surface of leaf, and it is having a double layer, that is upper epidermis and lower epidermis. Now they act as a passage for carbon dioxide from atmosphere into the leaf and oxygen into the atmosphere. Now each stomata is covered by bean-shaped structure that is known as the guard cells. During daytime when photosynthesis takes place, these guard cells open to let carbon dioxide from the atmosphere enter into the leaf, while during night time whenever photosynthesis is not taking place, this stomata get closed to avoid the loss of water from the surface of leaf by transpiration. Now guard cells, it become turgid or swell up due to the accumulation of water. Due to this, their outer thin wall bulges out and inner thick walls drawn apart. Thus stomatal opening between the two guard cells widens, make the stomata open. Now at the time of closing of stomatal opening, water comes out from the turgid cells and they become flaccid, or we can say that they become shrunken. Their inner thick walls become straight and stomata get closed. Now talking about factors that affect transpiration, first we will talk about external factors. Number one is intensity of light. Now during daytime, whenever the proper sunlight is there, at that time the rate of transpiration is higher, because at that time the photosynthesis goes on in plant. Second is temperature. A higher temperature lowers the relative humidity and opens stomata even in darkness. As a result, the rate of transpiration increases. Remember this, that greater is the temperature, greater will be transpiration. Third is velocity of wind. As the velocity of the wind is greater, again the transpiration is more, because the plant will cause higher concentration of water to go outside from the body. Now the fourth one is humidity. Now if we talk about relative humidity, it is basically the amount of water vapor present in air at a particular time and the temperature is expressed as a percentage of the amount required for the saturation of same temperature. Now the rate of transpiration is inversely proportional to relative humidity. Most of the relative humidity, less is the transpiration rate. Now the fifth one is concentration of carbon dioxide. Now here it is given that if the CO2 level increases outside air above normal 3.03%, then it will cause stomatal closure and hence the rate of transpiration will get lowered. Now the last one is atmospheric pressure. Now the rate of transpiration increases with decrease in atmospheric pressure and vice versa. Now due to this, it enhances the diffusion of water vapor. Apart from this, there are other factors which comes under this external factors, and that can be the water availability. Now plants, they have developed several structures to reduce the excessive transpiration from their body. That means to reduce excessive loss of water from their body, they have done certain modification. The first one is sunken stomata. Here the example given is Nerium. Nerium is basically a plant. The other name of Nerium is oleander, which is toxic in nature. Now in Nerium, the stomata, they are sunken. They are not like other stomatas. They are sunken so that it can reduce the loss of water from the plant. Now the second one is pure stomata. If the concentration of stomata is less, that means the loss of water will be lesser from the plant. Third one is narrower leaf. If the surface area is not greater, that means it will reduce the chances of transpiration. Now fourth one is reduced exposed surface. In some plants, the leaves of the plant get folded or curled so that it can reduce the loss of water from their body. Now the fifth part is loss of leaf. In some cases, leaves can get dropped or may be absent. For example, if we talk about cactus, their leaves are modified into stems so that the water should not get lost from their body. Now the next one is thick cuticle. As we discussed earlier that cuticle is a waxy coating around the leaf. That means if the cuticle is very thick, the concentration or the loss of water from the plant will be very much less. Now talking about significance of leaf. Now the first one is cooling effect. If the loss of water from the plant is higher, that means it will reduce the temperature inside the plant so that the enzymes in the plant can become active and do their function properly. So that also causes a cooling effect in the plants. Second one is suction force. Now transpiration, it helps in ascent of sap. What is ascent of sap? It is basically the upward movement of water and minerals through the stem to the leaves. This is known as ascent of sap. The water absorbed by the roots is known as sap because it is a dilute solution of minerals. Now evaporation from the leaves, it concentrates the cell sap and increases the osmotic pressure inside the plant, due to which the water, it gets translocated from roots to different part of the plant. Now the third one is distribution of water and mineral salts. Now the transpiration, it helps in the conduction of water and mineral to different part of the plant. Now also due to continuous elimination of water from the plant body, there a balance of water maintained within the plant and it maintains osmosis and keep the cells rigid. Now talking about direct loss of water by plants, in this two method is there. One is guttation, another one is bleeding. Now guttation is basically the tiny droplets which is formed on the surface of leaf, and it is more common during night time and when the weather is cloudy. Now A humid environment hampers the transpiration while the root continue to absorb water from the soil. It means that the plant is getting sufficient amount of water and the water is also translated to different part of the plant. But the different part of the plant are not able to expel or to eliminate this water out from the body. As a result of this, a hydrostatic force is generated which causes the movement of water from the vein to the tip of the leaves. Now the structure from which these waters comes out from the leaves are known as hydatodes. Now the topic is bleeding. Now bleeding is basically any cut in any part of the plant, for example from stem or from leaf, from which the sap comes out from their body. That is known as bleeding. And why the sap is coming out? Due to the root pressure, because root pressure is generated, due to which the sap moves in the upward direction, and whenever a cut is there in the plant, it comes out from their body. So student, this is basically the summary of the whole chapter. If you have any doubt, you can clear your doubt in Zoom interaction. Thank you.